I get it. You've done your niche and keyword research correctly. You've created a high quality book, yet you still can't quite get the sales that that book deserves. Now, if this is you, you're gonna wanna watch this video because I'm gonna show you 2 simple ways that you can fix that. And no, it's not some secret method. It's actually something very simple that so many Amazon sellers look past. And this is optimizing your book around human psychology. You see, every single purchasing decision we ever make is driven by our psychology, whether that's the color of the product that made us feel a certain way, or the imagery used in marketing that made us trust the product enough to go ahead and buy it. And the good news is you can utilize some of these basic rules of human psychology to sell more books on Amazon KDP. And I'm going to cover 2 really important ones in this video, so let's dive straight in. Now, to fully understand the context behind these psychological hacks, we have to understand the process of selling on Amazon and the step-by-step process in which someone will hopefully buy your book. So, breaking it down to simple steps, firstly, the customer will see your book, and that is dependent on how good your niche and keyword research is, essentially how well your book ranks in Amazon search results. Then once the customer has seen your book, it's your job to encourage them to then click into your book through the correct use of color on your book front cover. And then finally, when they land onto your actual book listing, hopefully the customer will buy your book, which is driven by you using the correct imagery in your book listing. Now, unsurprisingly, there is a lot of content on YouTube in the KDP space focusing on how you can improve your niche and keyword research, which, don't get me wrong, is extremely important when it comes to KDP, but there seems to be a huge neglect for this idea of how you can teach someone to convert a potential customer into a buying customer, especially by using correct colors and imagery on your product listing. So this video is going to be all about how you can maximize the number of customers that are actually converting from your book listing into paying customers buying your book. So we're going to start off firstly with the use of color. And this is focusing specifically on getting people from the Amazon search results just to click into your listing. And color is super important when it comes to doing that. Now, when it comes to using color in your KDP listings, you can do it in 2 main ways. Firstly, through color psychology. Now, colors can make people feel a certain way, and therefore certain colors should be used when you're trying to make your customer feel a certain way too. And then secondly, we have color differentiation. Now, when it comes to getting eyes on your book within Amazon search results, color differentiation is by far the most impactful thing that you can focus on. And if you are optimizing your book to focus on both of these, you're going to see a massive increase on the number of people that are clicking into your book. And I'm going to explain both of these in more detail now. Starting with color psychology. You see, colors aren't just there to look pretty, they're there to subconsciously make people feel a certain way. Now, a quick question, how many times have you seen a danger sign that is colored green rather than being colored red? I'm going to assume not many times, if ever at all, because the whole point of these signs is to make people alert, it's to stand out, make them feel on edge, and the color green just simply doesn't do that. It's a very calming, positive kind of color, and you just would not associate that with danger, hence why you never see green danger signs. And another idea of this is how many times have you associated the word love to the color brown? Of course, love is to do with pinks and reds, that kind of thing. Brown has nothing to do with the color love. So colors aren't just colors themselves, they make people feel a certain way, and it's so important to lean into that when you're making your Amazon KDP books. So there is actually so much research done on this idea of psychology of color. Every single color, subconsciously, whether we like it or not, makes us feel a certain way because we're simply conditioned to see that. So reds, for example, passion, love, anger, danger. Blues, calmness, spirituality, security, sadness. It's incredible how much subconscious control colors actually have over us without us even realizing. And of course, businesses are utilizing this every single day as well. Let's just take Apple, for example. They use a lot of white in their branding and their products. White is associated with expansiveness, open space, simplicity, minimalism, tranquility, all kind of words you would associate with Apple's branding, and there is no coincidence for that. And the good news is you can do exactly the same with your Amazon KDP books, leaning into the correct colors when you're trying to give off a certain emotion and make a customer feel a certain way. So let's say you're selling a book and you want it to be a premium option. Using purple elements on the cover will massively help you. You see, purple is associated with luxury, exclusivity, premium quality, uniqueness, and that is something you can all subconsciously tie in to your book cover. And also, if you're selling an activity book that you want to bring joy and vibrancy to the reader, use a yellow which is associated with delight, cheerfulness, vibrancy, uplifting, joy, so you can see just how much of an impact colors subconsciously have on how it makes humans feel. But as great as all of that sounds, unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. You see, as great as color psychology is, if your book looks exactly like all the other books on the Amazon search results, you simply aren't going to stand out and people will not click into your listing. Therefore, it's all about striking this balance between good color psychology and also understanding the current market and seeing what colors a lot of your competitors' books are. And here's what I mean by that. Immediately, your eyes were drawn to the blue book cover. Now, these are all Valentine's Day books. And you would generally associate love with pinks and reds, so surely based on color psychology, a blue book cover in this niche is a terrible idea. Well, not exactly, because you have to understand the value of grabbing customers' attention. With competition selling on Amazon being higher than ever, grabbing customer attention has never been more important. And now going back to that idea of color psychology, there is no point worrying about how your colors make someone feel through all that research in the color psychology if they aren't looking at your book in the first place. And therefore, the primary goal of your book cover is to capture that attention and then use color psychology to make your customers feel a certain way. But of course, they can't feel a certain way if they're not looking at your book cover in the first place. And this is what a lot of people get wrong. So if you just go back to this previous example, I'm assuming a lot of you who would be making a Valentine's Day book would make it purple, pink, or red. And that makes sense when it comes to color psychology, but you have to also get this balance right between color psychology and also the current market. And that's exactly what this person has done. Yes, blue isn't typically associated with Valentine's Day, but it allows the book to massively stand out from its competition. And then once the customer has their eyes on the book, there are still loads of elements of reds, pinks, purples to give them that feel of love, which is exactly what they're going for with this Valentine's Day book. So this book has got the perfect balance of capturing attention and also making the customer feel exactly the way they should do when they see this book. So that is how you can use color to maximize the amount of people that are clicking into your KDP book listing. But once they've clicked in, how do you then convert them into buying customers? Now, the way to do that is through optimizing your product imagery. Now, product imagery, once someone clicks into your listing, like I say, it's your job at that point to then convert them. Now, the thing with KDP is standard Amazon KDP listings are generally very poor visually and don't encourage the customer to buy your book. When you upload it, the default images you get are just the front cover and also the back cover of your book. You really can't see a lot of detail and it doesn't really encourage the customer to buy your book compared to other products on Amazon. And this is why utilizing Amazon A+ content is just so important. You see, here is the default image that you would get just through uploading to KDP. But once you add in Amazon A+ content, it makes so much difference to your book listing conversion. You see a much better view of the book. It's an actual physical mock-up of what the book would look like in real life. You can start adding text and start talking to your actual customer and just give a whole lot more information about your book than just the front and the back cover. And you can also touch on certain pain points and ways that you want the customer to feel about your book just to reassure them that this is actually the book they're looking for. And then obviously they're more likely to purchase once they are more comfortable with that. Now, it's all well and good talking about product imagery, but we actually need to go one step further and start talking about human product imagery. You see, using humans in your Amazon A+ content is a psychological cheat code to make more sales, and there's two main reasons why. Firstly, this idea of a subconscious bias. People love buying from people, and therefore adding that human element to your Amazon A+ content imagery allows the customer to imagine themselves using them to book, which ultimately encourages them to buy. And also relatability. Having the target market specifically in your imagery also reaffirms to the customer that they'll be able to relate to the book, which of course is another massive unconscious driver of purchasing behavior. So it's all about this subconscious bias and relatability. Now with Amazon A+ content, it's super easy to do this. There are loads of websites like Smart Mockups, Placeit.net that allow you to literally just upload your book design to these stock images of people actually using your book. And let's just say our book is going to be a book for kids that you would encourage your grandparents to read with the children. If you're a grandparent here and you go into your listing and you just see this image here of the book, yeah, it's kind of great because it shows that what the book is. But then when you actually add in a real life image of someone exactly like you, the grandparent, reading with their kid, this sparks this emotion that they're actually looking for. They can see the smiles on their faces. And like I say, it might not seem like a lot, but there is so much subconscious bias going on in customers' heads when they can actually see themselves or people like themselves using this book. So I would massively recommend not just using Amazon A+ content to improve your product imagery, but also using that human element and leaning into that subconscious bias in your Amazon A+ content. Now, this is all well and good saying how much color and product imagery can actually make a difference to your KDP book sales, but how can you measure all of this? And how do we know if these changes that we're going to make actually do anything? Well, the obvious answer is if you're making more sales after you've made the changes, you'd assume it's going pretty well. But that is a very basic understanding because the purchase of the book and the increase in sales is actually the last step of the customer's journey to buying your book. You can actually see the impact much earlier on down the line if you know what you're doing. And the way to do that is to launch Amazon ads on your book both before and after you've optimized using color and product imagery, and you'll be able to see in significantly more detail what is going on. Because like I say, you get a lot more insight into the earlier stages of the customer journey, and I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that now. And the three metrics you need to look at to assess this are clicks, click-through rate, and also orders. So don't worry, I know a lot of people get scared when they hear metrics like that. I'm going to explain all of these in the detail that you need to know now. So here is a snapshot of my Amazon Ads console. Now don't worry about these ones in the gray background here. Don't worry about those numbers. They are for all of the campaigns together. We're just going to be focusing on this white box here and specifically the clicks, the click-through rate, and also the orders. These three metrics that I just mentioned being really important a second ago. Now, in terms of definitions, clicks, very straightforward, how many times your ad was clicked. So when your book was shown to somebody on Amazon under the sponsored ad section, how many times did someone click into that? You then also have click-through rate or CTR, and this is basically just the percentage of times your ad was clicked when it was seen. So let's just say you had 1,000 people seeing your book and 100 people clicked in it. That's a click-through rate of 10% because 100 is 10% of those 1,000 that saw it. And then finally, you have orders, so the number of orders that came about once people actually clicked into that ad. And then when you combine clicks and orders, so orders divided by clicks equals your conversion rate. So conversion rate is just the percentage of times someone bought your book after clicking into the listing. So here you have click-through rate, which is the number of people who clicked into your listing once they actually saw it on the Amazon search results. And then we have conversion rate, which is of those people who clicked into your listing, how many of them actually went on to purchase the book. So there's a step-by-step process that you can see the customer going down through this journey. So with all that in mind, let's say we wanted to see what impact changing the color of our book had. So if we go all the way back to earlier on in this video, changing the color of your book to the correct color is all about trying to get more people from the Amazon search results clicking into your book listing. So in order to see the impact that changing the color of your book cover had, you need to look at your click-through rate. So if all other variables are controlled, your click-through rate will tell you everything that you need to know. Essentially, if your click-through rate has decreased since changing the color of your book, it basically means less people are clicking on your book relative to the number of people seeing it, which means the change hasn't been successful. So in short, if you change the color of your book cover and your click-through rate goes up, that means it has successfully worked in getting more people from the search results into your book listing. If it's gone down, then it has been unsuccessful. So once they're in your book listing, how can we actually understand how much impact improving the product imagery has had from taking people landing on your book listing to actually going ahead and buying the book? Now, in order to do that, we would have to work out conversion rate. And as I mentioned, to work out conversion rate, you have to understand how many clicks you're having and how many orders you're having. So from the example of this ad here, I had 956 clicks and 291 orders, which gave me a conversion rate for this ad of 30.4% because 956 people clicked into my listing and then viewed my listing, and then 291 of those people ended up buying. So I converted 30.4% of people through this ad. But let's just say you added in new A+ content as we discussed in this video. You added really high quality images. You also added human images of the people that you're actually trying to sell to themselves, and you wanted to see what impact this had on conversion rate. So let's just say these are our original numbers. We then changed the A+ content, and a month later, these are our new numbers. So we got 1,200 clicks and 480 orders. As you can see here, if we divide our 480 orders by our 1,200 clicks, this gives us an overall conversion rate of 40% because 480 is 40% of this 1,200 numbers. So for everyone that clicked into our product, we were able to convert 40% of those, which is a 10% increase from our original example. So this would show that changing the product imagery has been a massive success. Now, you might not think this makes a huge amount of difference, but let's actually see what impact increasing your click-through rate and also your conversion rate actually has on how much you're making from Amazon KDP. And trust me, it's much more than you expect. So let's say by optimizing our book, like we've discussed in this video, you increase your conversion rate by 10% and your click-through rate by 1%. Doesn't seem like a lot. Let's see what impact that has. And for the sake of this, let's say you're making £2.50 royalties per book sale. So before our optimization, our original numbers were this: a 1% click-through rate and a 30% conversion rate. Let's just say for the example of this, we get 10,000 impressions every single month, and that is not going to change. We're going to keep that as a fixed variable. If we get 10,000 impressions, i.e. 10,000 people that see our book, and we have a 1% click-through rate, that means over the month, we're going to have 100 clicks. And of those 100 clicks, because we have a 30% conversion rate, 30 of those people who click into our book are going to end up buying, and therefore we make 30 sales in the month, and we make £2.50 per book sale, which means we make £75 royalties before we've optimized anything. Now, this is quite low, and I'm going to show you the impact that optimization actually has on how much money you're making. So let's say we're doing some optimization, and what do these numbers look like when we replace this 1% with a 2% conversion rate and this 30% with a 40% conversion rate? So we have the same number of impressions, we're still getting 10,000 people seeing our book. But because we've changed the color of our book cover, loads more people are actually seeing it and clicking into it. We've increased our click-through rate from 1% to 2%, which now means of these 10,000 people that are seeing our book every month, rather than 100 people clicking it, 200 people are now clicking it. And because we optimized our product imagery to have much high quality images and using humans in that product imagery, we've managed to increase our conversion rate from 30% to 40%. Which means 40% of the 200 people that clicked into our book is 80 sales, and when we make £2.50 per book sale, our royalties are now £200. You can see we've more than doubled our royalties just by optimizing our click-through rate and also our conversion rate, super simply by just changing the color of our book and also changing our product imagery. And that's how easily you can start moving the needle when it comes to actually converting people from seeing your book on Amazon search results to ending up buying your book. Now we're going to take this one step further, and I'm going to show you just how valuable Amazon ads can be for your KDP business using exactly the same scenario as I've just shown you. So after our optimization, this is what our situation is looking like. We're making £200 royalties, and we've increased our conversion rate to 40%. And our click-through rate to 2%. So we've optimized these two numbers. We're just keeping it realistic. Obviously, you're not going to have like an 80% conversion rate and a 15% click-through rate. These are very realistic and conservative numbers. However, at the moment, our royalties is therefore limited by the number of impressions we're getting, i.e. the number of people that are seeing our book. So, simple question, how do we increase these impressions? And the simple answer is by using Amazon ads. Now, Amazon ads are an incredible way of getting more people to see your book. And if you've got your book listing and your optimization right, they can massively scale your KDP business. Now, just being completely transparent, if you're building an Amazon KDP business in 2024, because there is just so much competition, you need to be using Amazon ads to get more people to see your books and to stand out from your competition. And I'm going to show you just how valuable this can be in this example here. So let's just say we started using Amazon ads. We're targeting certain keywords, certain products, which basically means more people every single month are going to see our book. So our impressions every month goes from 10,000 to 50,000 all of a sudden. Our click-through rate stays exactly the same, but because we've just got so many more impressions, we now get 1,000 clicks every single month because we're just using ads to get our book in front of way more people than we were without using ads. Our conversion rate has also stayed at 40%, so nothing else has changed apart from increasing our impressions. But because we've got so many more impressions, the number of clicks and sales coming through here just massively increases, which means with exactly the same conversion rate and click-through rate, we're making £800 worth of royalties extra every single month just from using Amazon ads. So hopefully you can start to see just how important they are to scaling an Amazon KDP business. And I know a lot of people like to say, well, this royalties number isn't your profit. I understand that you do have to pay for ads, But here is exactly why that is such a misconception that ads are bad for your KDP books. So as you can see here from these two examples, we got an extra 800 clicks every single month from our ads. And let's just say it cost us 30p to get a single click, which for Amazon ads is a very normal and realistic number. Because we spent 30p every single click and we got 800 extra clicks from using ads, in this month we would have had an ad spend of £240. Now a lot of people are thinking £240, it's a lot of money, but you have to offset it against your royalties number. So we still ended up with £760 worth of profit, even though we spent money on ads. And this is what a lot of people get wrong with Amazon KDP. They're scared to invest in ads because obviously your ad spend goes up, you're spending money on your business, but that is how any business ever has been successful. You have to start investing into a business for it to grow, and Amazon KDP using Amazon ads is exactly the same. So in this example, although we've spent an extra £240 every single month through ads, we've increased our profit by £560. Now, if I was to ask you, would you rather spend nothing on ads a month but make £200 profit, or spend £240 a month but make £760 worth of profit? I'm pretty sure you'd take the second option, which is why Amazon ads are so good for scaling your KDP business if you've got your book optimization correctly, like I've covered in this video. And that essentially is how you can use color and product imagery to sell more books on Amazon KDP. And crucially, how you can scale that success using Amazon ads. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I've covered in this video, please do let me know in the comments section down below. I know Amazon ads can seem like a scary place for a lot of people. I'm more than happy to help you out with any questions you have on the metrics, the campaign setup. I'm there to help you with that because, like I say, it's a huge part of any successful Amazon KDP business. So just let me know any questions that you have down in the comments. Subscribe for more KDP content, and I will see you in the next video.